Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today in our Thursday webinar. This is missing piece of the puzzle when someone when someone goes on vacation. So what we're going to be covering today is just what it says. When someone in the office goes on vacation, we want to make sure that nothing's fallen through the cracks and we're making sure that everything still gets accomplished. So what we first want to start with is actually not the part where they actually have gone on vacation, but let's talk a little bit about scheduling vacations in the Redtail calendar itself. So for instance, let's say if I'm planning a vacation and I want to schedule that on my calendar, all I have to do is just add an activity. What I'm going to do is go to the top right, I'm going to click on my quick add icon, and now I have the ability to choose to add an activity. From here, I'm going to create the subject. So let's say, I want to go to Disneyland. So we'll go Disneyland trip, perfect. And over to the right-hand side, I'm going to keep this selected as an all-day event because maybe I'm going to go for a few days and I want it to span over those multiple days. So now I'm going to go and choose my start date and my end date. And so let's say that we're going to be going October 5th. And then I'm going to choose the end date to October 8th. That sounds like a great few days in Southern California. And you'll notice because it's an all-day event, I don't actually have to choose a time. I'm just marking it that this is when the actual trip is taking place, from the 5th to the 8th. And now what I want to do is choose the type and the category. Because I don't want this isn't business related. I want to make sure that people know I'm going to be out. So from here, I have the available types under my custom types. And again, you can always go in and add your own custom types however you wish. But I have the available option here of vacation day. And the category itself, I'm actually going to go down and I have one called personal. And so easy enough, I can see that this is going to be a vacation day and it's a personal event that's happening on my calendar. Now, because I'm scheduling it, let's say that Tabitha is going to be going. So we're going to do that. So we're scheduling it for her. I can reassign it to the user it needs to be. And so reassign over here, and we can select Tabitha. I'm going to create that activity. And so that just automatically went on our calendar right away. Now all I have to do is on the left-hand side, I can go to the calendar page. And already up at the top, I want you to point out that I'm actually looking at Tabitha's calendar up here. So even though I'm logged in as Tucker, I'm already viewing Tabitha's calendar. If you need to switch over to view somebody else's calendar, you just choose the drop-down, and you can select yourself or select somebody else, or even select multiple people. So I'm going to make sure both Tucker and Tabitha are selected right now. And what I'm going to do is move forward to October, and we'll see right here, Disneyland trip. You'll see Tabitha's in parentheses, so I know it's actually not assigned to me. It's assigned to Tabitha, and it spans over these few days. So right away, I can see that I need to make sure that maybe some activities are actually getting covered here. So right here, prospect calls is assigned to Tabitha. That's something I need to make sure that gets reassigned. I also am noticing that she's going to miss the team meeting. That's also happening on that Friday. So one way you can actually come in is take a look at it over here, open up the activity. Once it opens up the activity from here, on the right-hand side, you're going to notice the attendees. So this is where I want to make sure that these items still get accomplished. All right, so this is originally assigned to Tabitha. And again, Tabitha can go and do this herself, or if this is after the fact, you can go in and make sure that things are getting covered. But what I want to do is I can add an additional user. And so let's say that I'm going to actually take over some of the things Tabitha's doing. So I'm just going to add myself to this activity. Now you also have the option to come over here and choose to remove Tabitha from the activity. But it's really up to you what you want to do. I normally suggest just to add yourself and leave the original person on there if they're on vacation. That way they know that things are actually going to be getting accomplished as well. But if maybe they don't want those emails happening, you can just go to the action button and remove them from the activity. And that way it's going to transfer over to Tucker's calendar. And now, because it's a reoccurring activity, I'm making sure the apply changes is just to this one occurrence. And then scroll down, and I'm going to choose Save Activity. Now that I've updated that activity, you'll notice over here, Prospect Calls has 2 linked attendees and shows Tabitha and Tucker. So I know that's going to show up on my calendar, and I'm going to make sure and get that activity, that task accomplished, even though Tabitha is going to be on vacation. Now that's one way to look ahead, so we actually scheduled the vacation. We looked ahead to see what's happening while she's gone. But let's say, for instance, that maybe during this week, um, things haven't got accomplished, or maybe she called in sick before her vacation. I don't know anyone who's called in sick before her vacation. That's probably not the best thing. But maybe she just hasn't finished things and she's not in the office today. So maybe it's, again, just a sick day, random day that they couldn't come in. I want to make sure I'm not letting anything fall through the cracks. What I want to do is come over here to the Today page, so the main landing page of Redtail CRM. Under Things to Do Today, I like to point this out because this is specifically only showing me activities assigned to myself. But up at the top here, if I click on Activities, it's going to take me to the page where I can actually narrow down and see the list view of multiple activities with different filter dates. And those filter dates are controlled over here, and I can click on that. And what I want to do is look at past due right now. And so that's what it's already showing. I can click on it again, and it's showing all past due activities, but these ones right now are defaulted to myself. So what I'm going to do over here is where it says Me in the drop down, I'm going to move it over to Tabitha. And now that's going to update, and I'm going to easily see, here's all the activities that are past due, that are assigned to Tabitha, that need to get accomplished. So one thing that I like to show is that I really don't need to worry about the ones that have multiple users on them, because there's somebody else in the database who it's also assigned to. So for instance, this prospect calls is assigned to Tabitha and Tucker. But down here, there's a prospect call that was supposed to happen on September 25th that Tabitha was assigned to. What I need to make sure is get that reassigned, or even just add somebody to it. So I notice there's two here. There's also cut check for Emmett. I'm going to select the two that are only assigned to Tabitha and no other users, and make sure that I'm going to reassign them to myself, so I make sure those get done. So up at the top right hand corner, because I have selected two checkboxes, I can choose my activity options, and I'm going to choose to reassign. Now from here, I can actually choose myself, and we'll choose Tucker. I'm going to add the attendee. And if I also want to keep Tabitha on it, what you need to do is still re-add Tabitha. Now the reason for that is because when you reassign bulk activities, it replaces all the activity with just whoever selected here. So again, if I just wanted to reassign to myself and not have Tabitha on it, I didn't have to reselect her. But because I wanted her to stay on it and know that I was accomplishing those tasks for her, I'm keeping her on. And so I'm going to choose reassign, and those are going to update those two selected tasks. Once we refresh here, and now you'll see that all of Tabitha's past due activities are reassigned to other users who are in the office today. So all I'm doing here is just covering the bases to make sure that these activities are assigned to somebody who can get them done. Because it's today, these things were due before, I need to get them done as soon as possible. Now another part of tasks is involved with workflows. So on the left-hand side, if I choose workflows, it's going to show me all of the current workflow processes that I have currently ongoing. Now, this is a little different in regards to activities, because activities I have the ability to do bulk changes in regards to all the activities that I just showed. But if I need to make a bulk change to workflow tasks, I don't necessarily have that ability. So now what I'm going to do is look at my current step due here, and I'm going to notice that I have a few things that should have already been done. So it's the 28th of September right now. This was supposed to be done on the 19th of September. And so I can actually open it up to see what hasn't gotten accomplished yet. And so from here, I can easily see who these tasks are assigned to. And so I can see that Bill hasn't accomplished this task. So for instance, like maybe if Bill didn't come in today, something came up and I need to make sure I'm covering for him, then this is what I can do from here. Go in and then choose to edit this task. And then I can easily choose to reassign it to another user. So I can reassign it to myself and update that task. And all that did was just reassign it to me, because if somebody didn't come in, I want to make sure it still gets accomplished. Now, one trick that Redtail has seen happen in a few offices is actually a little easier when changing workflow tasks over to another user. And so what I'm going to do is use the example Bruce Wayne right here, his onboarding process. So I'm going to click on that. And what you'll notice is right here on the meeting day, which was supposed to be done on the 20th, we have this prep new client paperwork, which is assigned to Tabitha. Now, again, what I mentioned, for the individual workflow tasks, you would have to go into each individual one and update who it's assigned to make sure it gets accomplished. Or just go in and see what Tabitha needs to do and go in and complete them for her. The trick I like to show off is when you're building your workflow templates, instead of assigning those tasks to individual users, you can always create a team of users and assign it to the team. Now, the reason I do that is I'm going to actually open up the third step of follow-up right here, and you'll notice set review dates isn't assigned to Tabitha Bridge, it's assigned to Tabitha the team. Now, what makes it easier is if I were to assign all of Tabitha's tasks to the team, all I have to go in and do is update the team in the Redtail Manage Database Users and Teams section. So to do that, what I'm going to do is go in the top right-hand corner, click on my name, and then click Manage Your Account. Once I'm on Manage Your Account, if I scroll all the way down to the bottom to the Admins Only section, I can choose Manage Database Users and Teams. Once I'm on this page, I'm going to go up to the top and click on Teams. And then from here, you'll see I have the team called Tabitha. So our suggestion is you can create a team for each individual user. When you open up that team name, you'll see that Tabitha, the individual, is assigned to the only person as part of that team. So if I want to make sure that all of her tasks and workflows are getting covered, and I have those tasks assigned to the team, all I have to do is come up here and choose Add Team Members, and this is going to be a temporary thing, and just add myself or add somebody else as a member of that team. So now, because myself, Tucker, and Tabitha are all part of Team Tabitha up here, when I go to the workflows and then back into the onboarding process for Bruce Wayne, down here under follow-up, Team Tabitha, when we get to that step, will both be assigned to her and myself. And so again, that's just the easiest way to do bulk changes in regards to workflow tasks, is to create teams of each individual user and add users to their team for temporary purposes while they're away from the office or on vacation. One last thing I do want to mention in regards to users and teams, and let's go back there. So we're going to go to our name in the top right-hand corner, choose Manage Your Account, and then down at the bottom again, under Admins Only, and then I'm going to click Manage Database Users and Teams. Now, depending on your office, whether you want people to have access while they're away or not, you can actually disable a user without actually removing them from the database. So what you could do is, let's go down and let's find Tabitha's username right here. So Tab Bridge. I can choose the action button and choose to disable this user. So what it's going to do is make it so that Tabitha doesn't have the ability to log in anymore through her username. It's not necessarily going to delete the username, but keep in mind, if there are open activities assigned to her and then I disable the username, we like to refer to them as ghost activities. So they're not really going to show on anybody's calendar because they weren't reassigned. So if you ever choose to go in and disable a user, please make sure and go in and update all of their activities to be assigned to somebody else so you can still make sure those items get accomplished. And so once you disable the user, what happens to them is they actually come up here over to the right-hand side under the disabled list and over here. So once Tabitha comes back in, you can actually go to the action button and choose to enable the user again. So just because you disable does not mean you can't bring them back. And again, that's not necessarily a best practice to disable, but I have seen some offices use that, and it's always something we like to point out as available for yourself. Okay, thank you so much for joining us today. If you have any questions, feel free and reach out to us at 1-800-206-5030, or you can always email our support team at support@redtailtechnology.com. Thank you so much and have a great day.